more humiliation this time against Tottenham Hotspur. Simon Rusk, latterly the set-piece coach at Nottingham Forest, but more recently the under-21 coach here, is in charge for tonight. And Liverpool are not the team that you want to see on the immediate horizon if you're trying to stabilise a listing ship. Even with changes tonight, we know that Arne Slot's team are fearsomely good. Unbeaten in 19, they've lost only once all season, and they've recently won here, of course. And in a festive mood down here at the South Coast, Liverpool start as very, very strong favourites. But alterations maybe to the Liverpool side at least give Simon's Southampton a chance. We could yet be in for a vibrant League Cup night down on the South Coast. There is a sense of expectation, I think possibly a sense of relief, that Russell Martin now is part of Southampton's history rather than their future. And all they could do is hope that things fall into place tonight. Lee Hendry is alongside me, I'm delighted to say tonight. It's a tall order for Southampton, but the Cup is the Cup, the quarter-final is the quarter-final, and they have a chance, certainly.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much a free hit, you would say, wouldn't you? And that's the thing where, you know, you have to look at is that Russell Martin's gone out the door. It's one of them where I think the pressure's off. There's massive pressure on Liverpool more so, but as you just stated, you know, Liverpool having a fine season under Arne Slot. They look like they're one of them teams that could potentially go and take the lot this season, and when they're in vibrant mood the way they are, not many changes, still a strong team that they have. You know, you just feel that Southampton have it all to do, but it's one of them where they've got, as I said, pretty much of a free hit, and to see where they come out of tonight.
Remember as well that Liverpool, for all, of course, their wonderful achievements in European football, in the Premier League as well, the top flight, of course, of old, they've won this League Cup 10 times, a record. Defending EFL Cup champions, won 2 of the last 3. It has been a very, very kind competition for them. And Southampton, who've also done well, they've never won it, but runners-up in 1979 against Nottingham Forest and against Manchester United. Both wonderful games, actually, both finished 3-2, but not wonderful for Southampton. The second of those in 2017. And we wait now for the teams to make their entrance here. Always a special occasion, and players in these circumstances, Lee, take nothing for granted.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're getting to that stage now, aren't we? You know, quarterfinals and, you know, semi-finals beckon. You just have to take everything, you know, in your stride. I know that there are a few changes for both sides, but listen, you get in that tunnel, you've got your shirt on, you're ready to go, and that's your mentality as a sports person.
Yeah, absolutely, they are indeed a different breed. For example, we saw Jarrell Quansah in the background there. He starts again tonight. He's had some shaky times this season, notably against Brighton in the second half, for as long as he played in it. That win in the previous round, with Taro Endo making his way through. We're going to see him in an interesting position tonight, but let's soak up the atmosphere here in Southampton. What a win it would be for Simon Rusk. His only previous senior role was at Stockport in 2021. That didn't last long, it was under a year. Could he guide Southampton into the semi-finals of this League Cup? They certainly hope so. Touch of rain in the air, but any rain today has made this playing surface look really good. And they've both been involved in thrillers in this competition so far. Liverpool, of course, rock solid at the back in the league, less so in this competition so far. Now, Simon Rusk makes 5 changes to the team that beat Stoke in the last round of this competition, including a change of formation. Alex McCarthy plays in goal. Saints will play with 3 at the back. Nathan Wood joins Taylor Harwood-Bellis and Yad Bednarek. Ryan Manning comes in at left back. Flynn Downs plays in midfield, and Tyler Dibling just in behind Cameron Archer, who has 6 in 7 League Cup appearances. Well, Arne Slot once again uses his squad in this EFL Cup. A first Liverpool start for the 17-year-old Trey Nyoni as one of 6 changes to the team that won at Brighton in the previous round. Harvey Elliott also gets a chance from the start. Darwin Nunez comes into the side. And Wataru Endo, we think, will start at centre-half. Joe Gomez will play at left-back. Trent Alexander-Arnold, of course, coming in down the right. Interesting name on the bench for Liverpool. Several youngsters, but also the name of Federico Chiesa. 1 substitute appearance in the Premier League so far. And there is the man tasked with making it happen tonight, Simon Rusk. He was a player largely in non-league, but he'll be enjoying this. Why wouldn't you? An England under-19 coach, the experience at Stockport. His under-21s lost 5-1 on Saturday against Manchester United. He hopes for something very different here. So the traditional anthem blares out as we wait to get things underway. There is, as you can see, much rain in the air. Scott Minto down there in front of Arne Slot, former Charlton and Chelsea left-back. Arne, you could always tap him on the shoulder and ask for a bit of advice if you want. Prepares to watch from that position. Smile on his face, and there's Nathan Wood, a new arrival from Swansea. Player well known to Russell Martin. Hasn't had too many chances. Came on after 15 minutes against Spurs at the weekend. Plays from the start here. But they've had such a poor run. Confidence at such a low. 5 defeats in 6 in all competitions, 13 in 16 in the Premier League. It has been a nightmare for them. Martin's style of play, much criticised. Trying to play too much, not earning the right to play. Well, tonight, let's see if Simon Rusk can at least change the temperature. It will be Southampton to get us underway. And that traditional kit, the red and white stripes. Liverpool in the change in grey, and we're underway. They have to start well. They probably have to finish well and do pretty well in between, but whatever happens, they have to start well here, Lee.
Yeah, I think so, and what a positive start that is. I mean, you won't have seen that much from Southampton, from the kick-off being direct, chasing that back line down with Cameron Archer, who loves to pound the shoulder of defenders. Straight away, they win a free kick. So a positive start, as you said, they have to get out the traps early doors.
So Manning to one side, Matheus Fernandes to the other. How could that noise not inspire you if you're a Southampton player? It's the out curver from Manning. It was just beyond Taylor Harwood-Bellis. Scored a couple of times in this competition already. The draw against Everton when they won on penalties, and then the 3-2 victory against Stoke City. Last time, James Bree got the winner in that game, his second. Southampton winning 5-3 at Ipswich in the opening round back in August. Liverpool have only had to play a couple of times, 5-1 against West Ham, then 3-2 at Brighton.
It's interesting just to see where Endo's going to end up playing. I know he's playing in that centre midfield, you can see, but I think his starting position at times will be in that back line. And that's just the fluidity that they have from sort of back to front, haven't they, with the likes of Trent wanting to get forward, Joe Gomez and Conch will be the ones that sit every time they get forward. But interesting watch where he and what he does to affect the game, Endo, in there today.
Here's Trey Nyoni. What a night, making your first start for Liverpool as well. 2 substitute appearances, including 26 minutes at Brighton in the previous round, and he's much talked about, this boy, but it's one thing being talked about, it's another at the age of 17 doing it. I bet you still remember your debut.
I was just going to get to that, but it wasn't a good one, I'll tell you that now. It was a sending off. Let's just hope he is in the same sort of boat as me.
Gomez. Now in Yoni. Here's Gakpo. Now Endo. There's a sense of renewed optimism here. Certainly you could feel it in the air a bit.
It is like a fresh start, really, isn't it? And whoever takes the job on, I know there's been plenty of links so far. The likes of Danny Roll at Sheffield Wednesday, Connors Corbrand at West Bromwich Albion. Both names have been flashed around town, but whoever it is that comes in, obviously the players that are starting this evening, the next manager that comes in, I'll be watching and seeing whose attitude's good and who he might fancy and who he may not fancy, and that's just the life of football, really. You have to make that sort of impact when you can and when you get the opportunities.
Yeah, it's a difficult job. It's an interesting one because for candidates like the ones you mentioned, if it was a Premier League job at the start of a season when you can shape your own destiny, but taking over a club that's in such trouble that I wouldn't want to say is likely to go down, but there's every chance that they will, well, it becomes a different proposition. Here's Gakpo. Proposition of his own here for Southampton's back three. Now in Yoni. Nine points from safety, Southampton. And it feels like they're fortunate that it's only 9.
It has been one of them seasons for them, hasn't it? I think, once you get promotion and you come into the Premier League, the step up is just absolutely huge. And we're seeing that, last few seasons, teams have really struggled to maintain Premier League status. And Southampton, you would say, would have thought they might have felt that they might have had every chance. They still have, but they've got a massive mountain to climb at the moment in the Premier League.
Mopped up here by Wataru Endo. Certainly not a fixture in that Premier League side. 6 substitute appearances, so this competition important for him. It's Alexander-Arnold. Now Tyler Morton, who did start in the game against Brighton. One of few involvements for him.
A very good player as well. Watched really sort of bouncing around the scene at Blackburn and then at Hull City, where he really showed that he's got lots of quality, and that I've certainly admired.
But the problem you've got as a Liverpool youngster is that there are so many Liverpool youngsters of quality, and even that battle to get on the bench is significant. Rio Ungamoha is there tonight, the 16-year-old, first involvement in a first-team squad, and the journey to even get there is one of significance.
It really is. As you said, at times I think the players that they actually do feel that possibly can get into that first-team lineup, lots of them go out on loan, don't they, at the start of the season, and relish the fact and get some game time and experience. Some of these youngsters are just having a taste and the feel of being around some of these top players.
See, the rain is really driving down. There's a touch of wind around as well. Difficult weather conditions. See the splash there as Alexander-Arnold played that cross field. One interesting figure on the Southampton bench tonight is Adam Lallana, formerly of the Liverpool parish, of course, and indeed at previous time at Southampton that were rather happy at times. Interestingly, the ball is moving a little jerkily around this pitch. I think we're fine, but this game was taking place a couple of hours later. Be interesting. Flags up. Just when Bree thought he was going to get clear, but they always like the ball to run true, and it just about is doing, but there's not much in it, Lee.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, We've had some ridiculous amount of rain. The wind's certainly not helping, and as you said, it's not really got that zip and true run once it hits the ground, is it? An interesting one to keep an eye on.
Yeah, put it this way, if we were at, say, a third-tier ground in an EFL Cup quarter-final, I think we might be in trouble, but I think we're just about okay here. Sort of nights when groundsmen just sit shaking their head, looking at the work in front of them. Here's Cody Gakpo, who's been something of a hero for Liverpool in this competition. 2 against West Ham, 2 against Brighton. Great influence from that left-hand side. Strong challenge from Bree.
You'd expect him to be one of the danger men, wouldn't you? Having a great season, 9 goals this season, and I think when you look at that forward area and what a season that Mo Salah's having once again, you know, they have got that ridiculous amount of threat in that forward line.
Here's Endo. Now Quansah. It's the kind of start you would have expected from Liverpool. Dominating possession and territory as well. But Southampton have started okay.
They look pretty solid, don't they, and compact. I know that Martin obviously was and has played a back 5, but, you know, was playing with that back 4 sort of formation, wasn't he? But obviously dropped into a bit more of a solid, well-organised unit this evening. You can understand why, coming up against the side that are scoring goals relentlessly.
So far, so good. Not an easy job, this one. Alexis McAllister prepares to take the corner. See Nunez and Gomez having a frank conversation at the far post, but the ball was beyond them.
Not the best delivery at all. Took his time trying to get the ball situated exactly where he wanted. It's McAllister. Look at the weather. I mean, it's absolutely horrific.
It is horrific, isn't it? Just tell us what it's like as well when you're a player in these kind of conditions. Is it hard to do your job as you normally would?
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, fundamentals, you want to be exactly the same, you want to play exactly the same way and the same style, but sometimes it has to be a little bit ugly in these situations where, you know, you can't always afford to be playing them cute little passes back to the goalkeeper and expect to return. Sometimes it has to go a little bit more direct and long.
Slipped as he played that pass. Just watch the momentum of the ball. I know you're watching at home, you're watching us, wherever you're watching us, you'll be aware of this, but it's worth remembering that that's what referees look at, is can the ball travel? Once it stops travelling, that's when they look seriously, and it doesn't matter what the game is. Of course, he'll want to get this played. They all will. But it's not up to them, it's up to the referee. At the moment, it's just about okay. It would go straight to penalties tonight, just to remind you. Here's Morton. Now Endo. Feel sorry for any fan who's walked to the ground tonight. Stroll home.
Yeah, it's one of them evenings. Make sure you've got your umbrella. Interesting with, I'm just figuring out how Southampton have literally lined up and how they're going to work this. I think they're happy enough to surrender that bit of possession that we know that Liverpool would like to have and try and catch them on the counter-attack much as possible. Cameron Archer's going to be a key key figure up there this evening, playing up there as that sole striker. Tyler Devlin, he's a great talent as well. Loves to run with the ball. I'm not sure it's the evening for him to really have them really clever runs that he has, particularly with the way that the ball's not really travelling so greatly.
Liverpool unbeaten away this season, have conceded 2+ goals in 4 of their last 5 away games. Drifted far too long by Gakpo. Their last loss away was at Everton in April. The weather could describe it as a bit of a leveller as well, just a bit.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it suits Southampton, won't it? I mean, they've been conceding goals left, right and centre. Is it 23 goals conceded at home? 13 in the last 3. They've been literally leaking goals, and that's why I feel that they have. Some of Russ looked at that and said, you know, we have to be solid this evening. No matter what side that Liverpool put out, they can punish you quite quickly.
Well, one thing they're not doing here is overplaying, is playing in the frustrating way that Russell Martin did for these fans anyway. So they've seen a slight improvement from their perspective anyway.
I think when you've got quality in your team, which Southampton, you know, they clearly have, but you've got to play to strengths, haven't you? And listen, for how much Russell Martin wanted to play football, listen, this is the way football is these days, you know. How many times do we see goalkeepers getting it, playing it so close to their centre-halves, really trying to come through the lines? It's almost got to be picture perfect. I'm not sure it always has to be, and you have to find a different solution and a plan B.
Here's Gakpo, good running that, ball carrying from Agnoni, and he gets into a good position and miscues. Confident though, isn't he?
Yeah, he started nice and brightly, hasn't he? Got a few touches of the ball, 1 and 2 touch, moving the ball quickly, making them clever runs in behind.
It's a smart pass that from Morton, and now Nunez gets right underneath that.
Oh, it's a good little bit of play, isn't it? Morton, just a clever little reverse pass round the corner. And then could have easily been a foul on McAllister on the edge of the box, but Nunez just blazing that height over the bar.
Now there's a worry. Alexis McAllister just feeling his left knee. They will be monitoring that. Goalless 15 minutes in. Simon Rusk would have taken that before the game. Looked forward by McAllister. Here's Agnoni. Gakpo trying to turn, and he's rugby tackled by Flynn Downs. Here's Trey Agnoni. Now Alexander-Arnold. Here's Cody Gakpo. Oh, it's a dangerous back pass on a night like this, but it was okay.
You can start to see the momentum just flowing a little bit for Liverpool. Trying to get it into the likes of Nunez. This wide area is going to be massive, I feel. Gakpo. So Agnoni giving him plenty of support. It's just trying to create them overloads, isn't it?
Acknowledgement there from Taylor Harwood-Bellis that it wasn't ideal, and now we've got 2 balls on the pitch. It's all happening. Here's Endo. Now Quansah.
That's unlucky. don't mind that. And Yoni trying to pick out Gakpo in behind, just trying to stretch the play a little bit. Everybody wants the ball to their feet so far.
They will be looking to their more creative players to try and make something happen, but as you've already pointed out, it's a difficult night for a player like Tyler Dibbling. Giving it away here, this is Gakpo, Nunez running ahead of him. Darwin Nunez now, terrific tackle, Bednarek. Timed it perfectly.
The experience of Bednarek, you just feel that this is going to be a golden opportunity, and maybe the first for Liverpool. Bednarek gets across, reads it well, just as Nunez wants to take on that strike. It's an excellent tackle. That's what Liverpool can do to you so quickly, can't they? You go on the attack and they can turn that ball over so fast and really punish you.
There's Trent Alexander-Arnold. Stolen away by Endo. Now then. Fernandez with Dibbling outside him. Is he going to try and take them on? He is! And it was a clever idea from Tyler Dibbling.
And it was, wasn't it? And again, that's quick turnover. Look at all the Liverpool players so far forward. They're caught with 3v2. They literally slow things down quickly. Dibbling has the option just to maybe slide. There's Fernandez who gives him that run, that creates a little bit of space for him. It's a real tame shot into Kelleher. That's what they will play on the counter this evening as much as they can.
But it was on there to shape it into the far corner. The finish was there for him. He wasn't too far off.
I think he just got caught under his feet, didn't he? I think he maybe are caught in two minds, but
Dibbling was put under pressure there by Downs. He did well to extricate himself. Yeah, Manning's ball was well intentioned, but beyond everyone. Here's Joe Gomez. Now in Yoni.
Hell of a lot of the ball down the left-hand side, hasn't it, for Liverpool? I'm just looking at Harvey Elliott out on that right-hand side. Barely really had a touch. Just moments ago had 2 or 3 little bounce passes inside, but hugging that touchline. I know that that could be a danger as well, with Trent getting forward.
Here's Gomez. Now in Yoni. And this is Cody Gakpo. Endo. Yeah, it's a free kick. Aribo, the player, brought down.
Maybe a bit of frustration there from Harvey Elliott. Just catching Joe Aribo. Blatant foul for Simon Hooper to blow up. He's an effective player. He needs to be on the ball. I like to see him when he's dropping in them little pockets and coming inside. Harvey Elliott.
These two have met in 7 previous League Cup ties. Liverpool have won 4 and Southampton 3, so always been fairly level in this competition. Last meeting 2017 when Southampton beat Liverpool in the semi-final. Stray arm there and Endo down and a Liverpool free kick. That was the final. Southampton lost 3-2 to Manchester United. There's the little shove by Harwood Bellis.
Yeah, it was only a little one though, wasn't it? Simon Hooper's done well to really see that. I know Endo went down quite quickly, but it does more look like he ran into Southampton player there.
In that semi-final, by the way, it shows how times have changed. Southampton won 1-0 home and away in that game against Liverpool. Nathan Redmond and Shane Long. Here's Dibbling. Oh, it's a clever idea again. Archer chasing in front of him, and Kelleher a little uncertain, but played their way out of trouble. And now here comes Nunez at the other end. Slip from the goalkeeper. Steady from Nunez. Liverpool lead by a goal to nil from end to end, and they sweep it home clinically.
Well, that is Liverpool, literally. I'd say at their best. I mean, it's just Liverpool in a nutshell, isn't it? And I tell you what, it's Jan Bednarek that really slows this pass down, because I think it's just going to go straight into McCarthy in the 18-yard box, but it's Trent that actually plays the ball through, and it's composed, isn't it? We said about Kelleher, not had many of the touch of the ball, but look at the composure here. Just look at the touch from Jan Bednarek's, the run from Darwin Nunez, and this is the one that just slows and takes all the pace out of the ball. McCarthy slips, and then it all goes wrong. It's just a matter of making sure that you pick your spot, which Nunez does, but it's that big touch just takes the sting out of everything. And look at that, it's a simple tap-in for Darwin Nunez, and you'll think his Christmas has come early, and you would say it's a perfect start, isn't it, for Liverpool?
Yeah, McCarthy, once he'd slipped, he tried to spread himself, but he's half a step behind. Such a shame for Southampton that it came from a positive position for them, but that's where they were most vulnerable.
I think the fact that Liverpool can and have got the speed merchants in them forward areas, you know, you actually got to make that challenge. You've got to try and stop that ball from going through as a defender. But unfortunate for Bednarek, he just took all of the pace, the spin, and it just falls into the path of Nunez.
Here's Quansah. Liverpool, of course, will grow from that goal. The younger players won't feel quite the pressure. Here's Elliott. Oh, and Yoni. Licence to roam a little bit for Trey and Yoni. Gomez. Here's Gakpo. Well, Bree fouled him. Protesting at his innocence there, but referee's having none of it.
Yeah, I'm not having none of it neither, because the Gakpo, brilliant. Love the fact that just burst of energy, touch away. I'm not sure there's loads of contact. I actually think he might kick the ground, but he's never gonna win any of the ball, and that's why the free kick was given.
Well, if they could back up that Nunez goal with another, they'd start to have one eye on the semi-final. Taken short. Oh, it travelled a long way from Trent Alexander-Arnold's cross. There's Agnoni. Gakpo. Here's Alexander-Arnold. Now Gakpo.
It could be a long evening, couldn't it, for Southampton? Listen, they do look really well compact in that sort of central area. They're happy to try and force Liverpool into wide areas.
Now Quansah. Still plenty of noise in here. Most of it coming from the away fans. Here's Gakpo.
That's the problem, isn't it, when you do sit back, as you will do against top teams, is that the ball that's got to go forward has to give Cameron Archer a chance just to at least just relieve a bit of pressure or chase something down, get control that can just allow just to get a little bit higher up the pitch.
The problem they've got as well is at some point they'll have to take a risk whenever it might come. If they sit in here and allow Liverpool to play, whatever happens from now on in, Liverpool are going to win that kind of game, as they already are. Here's Gakpo. Now Morton. There is suddenly that strut about Liverpool after the goal. Quansah. It's Elliott trying to pick the pass to McAllister.
Yeah, there is that swagger, isn't there? And you can understand why the season that they're having. Slot has come in and I wouldn't say he's made them better, but you know, he's come in and made that impact, hasn't he? I know he's had a great foundation to work from with the squad of players that he's got, but you still have to be well drilled and still have to go about your business as best as you can, and they've done that.
Significant thing is others have got worse. They certainly haven't got worse, Liverpool, under Slot. All that criticism at the lack of summer transfer activity, and suddenly it doesn't look so silly.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it? I mean, you hit a real good point there that the teams below haven't been anywhere near what they should be. I mean, you'd have thought that City would be going, Manchester City going on the run that they are on at this moment in time. Expected Arsenal to certainly be the...
Here's Gakpo. Does like those finishes from out wide, but he checks this time to pick out Elliott. Terrific defensive block. Harwood-Bellis just flung himself in the path of that well-struck shot. Here's Alexander-Arnold. Gomez. And Cody Gakpo floats that in towards the far post, and Yoni it was who jumps and heads wide.
I'll tell you what, some block, wasn't it, from Taylor Harwood-Bellis. Just well worked from Gakpo. Does look like Yoni's gone out on that right-hand side, doesn't he? He's just starting to see more of Harvey Elliott. I just feel he can instigate a little bit more at times. He looks to play in them clever little areas where I think he can just force Liverpool forward, and maybe he's the one that can go and get that second goal. I think they go and get that second goal, it could be trouble for Southampton.
Here's McAllister. Now Cody Gakpo. Beautifully done by Gakpo, and thrashed home by Harvey Elliott. And Liverpool already have a foot in the semi-final. Elliott drifting into space and picking out the bottom corner.
Now, right on cue, he must have heard what I said because he's been really quiet in the opening stages of this game, but when he gets into them areas, he is a handful. I mean, I said about his clever mentality and nous of where he can get himself in really good positions, but this is well worked from Liverpool. Gakpo, Endo, Gakpo, And then a clever ball. This touch is brilliant. Just takes the sting out of the pass that's come in. It's not a great pass, actually, but then just composure and just drills it. There might be a slight nick on route to goal. Makes it even harder for the save for Alex McCarthy. Is right, man, he just gets the final touch, but I think it would have been a tough save for McCarthy to get anywhere near that, and this ended up being a brilliant 33 minutes or so for Liverpool.
Couldn't have gone any better, really, after a slightly slow start, but feels like a tall order. You never say never, but for Southampton to come from 2 down against his side feels a long way away.
Well, maybe they have to. Russ has to look at something different. What can he do a little bit different? Can he try and maybe play someone a little bit further up the pitch alongside Cameron Archer? I know you want to try and protect as much as you can, but there's only so much you can protect, and now they find themselves in a real sticky predicament.
Only had 2 shots on target, but they both resulted in goals. There was pressure there on Alex McCarthy.
78% possession. I mean, it's pretty much like the league fixture where it looked like it was more of a close encounter, which it wasn't. There was plenty more that Liverpool should have done that day. Dominated the ball, dominated that forward area, as they're doing again this evening.
Can't give it away as regularly as Southampton are at the moment as well, and thrive against a team like Liverpool. You just can't.
I know people credit Liverpool for the way they pass the ball and the way they move it quickly, but I mean, you have to credit for the way they go and press, don't they, high up the pitch. Even players that are coming into the side this evening, the mentality of the football club is we want to stay in that final third and cause problems.
There's a Rebo wide here for James Bree. Downs. Again, they give it away. Again, Liverpool look to hit them on the counter. 4 against 3 at the moment. Nunez waits and waits and makes a mess of it, in all honesty. Here's Gakpo, though.
It was a poor ball, wasn't it, from Darwin Nunez. It just slows everything down. They're in a 3v3 situation. I think it's just picking that pass out.
McAllister with the shot that's tipped behind, and just as we were critical, they very nearly made it 3-0.
What a save that is from McCarthy in goal. Has to get down and really force a big left hand away. What pass as well from Trent inside, out of nowhere. McAllister appears on the scene, forces a massive save from McCarthy.
Well, it's a fantastic left hand that just about keeps them in this year's League Cup. If you're being blunt, it's hard to see from 2-0, it would be impossible. Just about from 3. Liverpool hunting down a third, though. Run away for a throw.
And it is still a strong Liverpool side that Arne Slot's picked this evening, isn't it? Now, I know there's plenty of young talent that might feature this evening as the evening gets further along.
Well, 13 conceded in their last 3 home games, as Lee was saying earlier, 2 already here. That average figure's not going to get any better, is it? Again, they're going to try and get something working here. Saw them at the last set piece. Once again, it will be McAllister. towards that near post. It was a good delivery that towards Nunez, who then commits the foul.
Yeah, I don't know whether the wind held that up a little bit. It looked like a super delivery for that near post, just to be helped on from Nunez at that near post. Maybe that's why. Might have just hit the ponytail on the way through.
You think back when you see that, you think back of short back and sides players of the past and what they would have made of a player fiddling with his hair. I won't say any more, I'll sound like I'm double the age I am. Endo just recovered there against the pace of Archer. He did really well. Liverpool still played themselves into trouble though. Gomez electing to play it short. It's Dibbling.
That's great strength there. Gomez, it just shows the Liverpool side, they just don't want to put it into an area or into a space for someone to chase onto. They want to play their way out with a massive purpose, don't they?
Up towards Nunez. Yeah, bit of pace there from Quansah, just closing that down effectively. There's Joe Gomez. Well, that's such a clever touch for Elliott by Nunez. Two goal scorers combining. Here's Gakpo. Now Morton. Quansah.
Triagnoni just getting told to come back out on that right-hand side, just drifting into them central areas. He has definitely changed positions with Harvey Elliott.
There's Manning. Up towards Archer, who's had a thankless task so far, but he's done well here. Fernandez to play it back across. The Saints fans wondered for a moment as James Bree went down whether there was contact, but no complaint from him.
There's a great little bit of play as well from Fernandez. He's been one of Southampton's better players this season. The one to go to for more creativity. There's a little bit of coming together there with James Bree and Gomez. I think there's more from James Bree that he just slips on his route in towards that 6-yard area. Brings Gomez down.
Here's Endo. Nunez. So comfortable in all areas of the field, these Liverpool players, when they're dominant like this. Just interchanging. We've seen Leone switch out to that right-hand side. Elliott almost as a fullback at times. Now here's Gomez pushing them forward for Gakpo.
Yeah, there is a A little bit of freedom, isn't there, when they get into them areas? I think it's great to see. It's a great learning process for some of them youngsters that are out there this evening as well.
It really feels that way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, Quansah, one of those younger players, overhits the pass for Gakpo. So far, it's a command performance from Arne Slot's side. Looking for a 20th League Cup semi-final. Ian Rush played in 6 League Cup finals for Liverpool, 49 League Cup goals, the record scorer in the competition. Part of that great Liverpool success.
Some player on it.
It wasn't bad. One of the great finishes. The days then when centre forwards could often run and finish. Not so these days.
The game's changed an awful lot from them sort of areas where centre forwards would love to run in behind and do a lot of the hard donkey work in them forward areas. Now it's a little bit different. The old 2 up top. You don't see that very often.
So the corner conceded by Endo. He's done a pretty good job so far. Set piece opportunity to be delivered by Ryan Manning. It's going to be just beyond Kelleher, who snakes out a right fist and punches it away, and the whistle went anyway.
Yeah, it looked like he just couldn't get out. Like you can see there, Cameron Archer just leaning right into him. He's always going to get the protection. Kelleher does get enough hand just to prod it away in case, but clear foul. I think that's where you have to take the most and advantage of set pieces, corners, anything that's in and around the box. You might have an opportunity to get a goal, but that might just change the game. I think the next goal is so important in this game, I really do, because if Liverpool will go and get that third, I think it could be curtains, couldn't it, for Southampton, but Southampton go and get a goal and it just changes the reflection of the game. They're still in this.
Absolutely. As we head for the final 30 seconds of the first half. Matheus Fernandes stands over this free kick. Can they make something of this set piece? Yeah, they get another one. See Harwood Bellis saying my shirt was being tugged, and now this is an opportunity.
Well, this is a big opportunity right on actually a touch of half-time, isn't it? In the last minute. I think this will be the final touch as well, so great from Southampton perspective if they can produce something of quality. Just give them a glimmer of hope.
So they have Matheus Fernandes, Manning there as well. Manning it is to curve it beyond everyone. That's a shame for them from a promising position. That does it as well for the first half, a half in which Southampton started well, but then Liverpool proceeded to dominate. The first goal on the counter-attack from end to end. Darwin Núñez finishing off after Trent Alexander-Arnold's ball forward, and then Harvey Elliott making it 2 with a nice slick finish, and at half-time it's Southampton 0, Liverpool 2. And welcome back to the South Coast, and changes, as you can see, at half-time for Liverpool, and a very welcome one in the shape of Federico Chiesa. Not to say that Kostas Tsimikas isn't welcome, but Chiesa, of course, slightly risky signing given his injury history, but of course a fine player at Fiorentina and Juventus, and for the Italian national side. Makes his 4th appearance in all, including in this competition against West Ham United. Injuries once again blighted the start to his Liverpool career, but I suspect if you're Simon Rusk, 2 down, trying to get back into a game, you don't really want to see a player of Chiesa's class coming on at half-time.
Well, definitely not, but I think, listen, you've got to understand this is Liverpool Football Club, isn't it? And I know they have got youngsters on the bench, but they've also got strength that we're seeing coming on. Tsimikas and Chiesa, I'm looking forward to seeing how he slots in. Always been an admirer of him. I know that he's had them injury problems, but interesting where he ends up getting involved and what position he ends up playing. Looks like he's going to be on this right-hand side.
So Liverpool leading by 2-0. Whatever happens here, Southampton have to score the next goal in the game. Fernandes has gone down. It's Gomez who's made way for Tsimikas. It's Alexander-Arnold who's gone off. Took us a while to work that out. We were looking down at the forward players and they're all still there. Harwood Bellis, who scored a couple of times in this competition this season, heading over. So Morton has gone to play at right back. Elliott has gone into the centre of midfield, and Chiesa can play wide. Chiesa is very much an old-school winger type. Son of one of the great Italy domestic strikers in Enrico Chiesa. Wonderful finisher. Son, different kind of player. Saying always was in Federico Chiesa's early days, if all of the tricky wing play, if only he could have inherited his father's finishing ability. But he's got better at that. But if Liverpool can find the best of him, then he'll be a terrific player for them.
Yeah, definitely. I think in addition, if you can get him fit, I think it's taking time, wasn't it? Making sure that he was, you know, where he should be, and not forcing the issue. I think there's no need, was there? Particularly the way Liverpool have started. It's all about taking time and knowing that you potentially have a big player on your hands there. As you said, the experience of where he's been and where he's played. You know, it's a great addition to the football club.
And of course, Richard Hughes, who took over in that senior recruitment role in the summer, knows Italian football inside out, would have been very aware through his contacts of the risks and so on, and would have judged it. Good man to have to make a call like that, or to be part of a call like that. He doesn't ultimately make it. Simeone, what a good game he's having. Endo.
Well, Endo has definitely gone into that back line now, hasn't he? Where he's playing, at times he was dropping in. He's looking like he is filling that void there. Monster obviously being his partner as a centre-back. Tsimikas obviously will go and join in on that left-hand side, and he touched on Tyler Morton coming out on to a right-back role, which we know he can play.
Threaded through towards Gakpo, who very nearly got there. Oh, painful one there for Bree. Yeah, right in the groin. just stretched something, hasn't he?
He was moving gingerly, wasn't he, just as he made that sprint, and I think it was just the fact I thought Gakpo might have actually just got there and seemed slow down as soon as he tried to clear that ball away. Looked like he'd pulled something and pulled up quite sharply.
Well, Yukinari Sugawara's getting ready. That would be like for like. Players know. Well, you could confirm that. They always know, don't they?
Yeah, straight away. I mean, you could see it anyway, couldn't you? I mean, as soon as he cleared that ball away, he was quick to point to the bench and signal that I think that might be his evening.
Tough night, only joined in the summer. Still learning as a coach at 42. But in a way, he's not a contender for the job, so tonight, weekend against Fulham, as long as it lasts, is a free hit for him. He's a good, safe pair of hands, nice guy.
You always want to do well, don't you, when you take over the reins, and so you won't have gone out and thought, I'm going to be negative. You always want to be positive as a coach and show what you possibly can do. You never know, do you, in football ever?
And the other positive for him, you'd think anyway, he's the under-21 coach, and so that job won't be affected, shouldn't be anyway, by whoever comes in. Wait and see what happens with this Liverpool corner. It goes too long, but it's not as if he's an assistant stepping into the main job who's now going to lose his job. You would think he'd stay at the club, so in a way it's a little sort of sojourn in the first team for him.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. You know, shouldn't imagine it will affect his role that he's currently in. I think he's just stepped into the boots of Russell Martin for now, and it's a good learning curve for him as well also, isn't it? I mean, coming up against a side who are dominating the Premier League this season so far.
And it must be some learning curve if you actually stop and think. I mentioned the only previous senior role at Stockport for 10 months in 2021, England under-19s. So of course he knows all about systems and able to put a formation together and coach and all of that. Of course, I'm not saying that for a second, but suddenly to 3 or 4 days notice be faced with Liverpool in a cup competition and dealing with Premier League senior players. Not an easy one, that, to step into.
It's like slow on your CV as well, isn't it? You know, you've stepped in and you took over the Premier League side. You might say, you know, you want to get something out of it where you can say that they performed well, which they have done early on, didn't they? They tried to nullify what Liverpool was throwing at them, but fortunately the 2 goals just seen them with an uphill task.
They've actually started the second half pretty well. Liverpool just adjusting to those changes. And as Lee said towards the end of the first half, if Southampton score the next goal, then it still remains interesting.
Well, it is. I mean, the next goal, I think it's so important. You know, obviously, it can turn this game completely. You can, and give everyone a little bit of belief, particularly if Southampton are to go and get that 3rd goal. They're going to have to offer a little bit more in the forward advanced areas.
Here's Gakpo. Now Tsimikas. Away next against Fulham, then home against West Ham United next in the league. They all become vital games now.
It's massive time of the season. I almost think Christmas, festive time. I think the games come thick and fast, and before you know it, you're in the New Year, in the back end of the season, where you know that you're certainly chasing things, particularly when you're lying in the league. And that's what Southampton find themselves in, a real predicament. They need to get the right person in who can try and drive them away from sitting bottom of the Premier League.
There's Gakpo, talking of driving. Offside though, as the ball was played forward, and their other problem is 9 points adrift, and with those games coming so thick and fast, that can get into big double figures very quickly and very easily, and then they're done for.
Yeah, it can, and also on the flip side of that, you can win 2 and you can find yourself right in the back in the mix of it, can't you? So, you know, I think that's why they've made the move to actually go for someone else to take over the reins. And you know, it's a big call, because you expect someone to come in and really hit the ground running and make the club believe that they can actually stay in the Premier League. That'll be the message.
Oh, Tsimikas just rolled it out of play. Arne Slot, by the way, is serving that one-match ban tonight. Sipke Hulshoff is in charge of the side from the touchline. We've seen that Slot, of course, is very much here and very much watching on. Here's Manning. Nathan Wood. Way by Quansah. Nunez delayed and delayed, but I think Gakpo was still of the opinion he was offside, yeah, and that's been confirmed.
And I'll tell you what, if Darwin Nunez gets his head up and looks down that right-hand side, Chiesa is in acres of space and he's at full pelt anywhere. Doesn't even have to be a perfect pass. I think he just selected the wrong one, had the blinkers on.
Now, there was something that happened off the ball here that we didn't initially see. A yellow card for Downs and for Elliott. Let's have a look at this. There it is, the little wrestling match.
And they're both at it, weren't they, for quite some time, actually. And I think it's one of them where they're both at it. Maybe just a telling off and a talking to would have been the right decision, but Simon Hooper's gone with the yellow cards and given them the ticking off.
Footballers, Ailey, never learn.
I agree.
Tsimikas. Another little coming together, followed quickly by a hug. That's nice, Bednarek and Nunez. That's how you do it, lads.
That's more like it, isn't it? I think I preferred the other way, to be quite honest, when I played.
Here's Endo. Straight into the face of Endo, but Saints can continue here with Archer. Is there an opening for him? There might be! You better believe there is! They are right back in this! Fired by Archer! And Saints halve the deficit!
Well, this is an absolute brilliant goal. It really is. And this is just down to Liverpool being a bit sloppy in possession, Endo giving the ball away, and let's talk through Cameron Archer's finish, because this is top draw, it really is. He's spun away, yes, it's fortunately come to his feet, but he's got two defenders coming towards him, gets it on his favoured right foot, and So there's only one place he can stick this. He's got to put bend on it. He's got to stick it in that far top corner, and he's got to put it past Kelleher, which he does quite magnificently. I'll tell you what, there's a game on here now.
That is a belting finish from Cameron Archer. Bullseye. Just over half an hour to go. You said it, a goal and they're back in it, and here they are.
They've been good, haven't they, in the second half? I mean, they've had more about them in the forward area. I suppose there's been a bit more bite about them. Maybe just playing a little bit further up the pitch. I know that Liverpool have made a couple of changes, but this will give them something to think about now.
And you suddenly look at that Liverpool bench and you realise the inexperience there. Yes, Diogo Jota, but a lot of names that people won't be overly familiar with. Change for Southampton, as we thought. Bree making way for Yukinari Sugawara. The arrival this season from RZ in Holland. Japan international, very able deputy. I think it's fair to say we've got a game, Lee.
Yeah, well, this is what you want, don't you? You want, obviously, teams to react and respond, and that's what Southampton have done. It's quite easily, when you go down, you find yourself 2-0 down at half-time, and it's quite easily to feel that the game's lost. But, as I said, it's a tricky scoreline too. You know, if you can go and get that next goal, which Southampton have done, you won't believe what the momentum and what belief you'll feel that you have.
Simon Rusk will be feeling great right now, he really will. Another great ball in, oh, fantastic save, Kelleher, and Morton hooks it away. They were so close to making it 2-2. Southampton are on the charge, Sugawara. Oh, great take! Fantastic block, Kwanzaa. Behind for a corner, Kwanzaa's in agony, Kelleher made a tremendous save, and suddenly the whole tone of the tie has changed.
Well, Sugawara's come on, and I think his first two touches he's made or created something there for first initially for Cameron Archer, that forces a brilliant save from Kelleher, and then brilliant work where another ball's flashing. What a save that is from Kelleher. Close range, forced a big right arm, but and a super block there, wasn't it, as well? The second attempt from Kwanzaa. Really believe behind this Southampton side now.
Matthias Fernandes with the corner. Kelleher missed it, just beyond everyone. It's a fine save, though. And a really good clearance from Morton as well in front of him.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the more you see it, it's one of them where Cameron Archer just has to get some contact. He does, but Kelleher has to guess the right way and also has to keep the ball from out of the net, which he does with a real big right arm.
No surprise to see Jota. James McConnell is also going to come on here by the look of things. McAllister makes way. Slot having faith in young players here. Gakpo making way to Jota. Connell's last appearance was in March. Came on as a substitute in last season's final. Zendo taking a bit of a battering here, isn't he?
There he is. I'll tell you what, he hasn't started this second half particularly well, and a couple of times he gave the ball away, and that led to Cameron Archer going. I know there was an awful lot for him to do, but I just feel that they've just dropped off the pace a little bit, Liverpool. They dominated and really moved that ball with some purpose, and I just feel like that has just gone out of their game.
Kwanzaa. Here's Morton. Endo. Tyler Morton. Liverpool looked so dominant at 2-0. It felt like 3 and 4 was on the way. It's funny how it can change.
It just shows, doesn't it, what a goal brings. And it really does. You've got to have that belief, no matter who you're playing against. It's always a tricky scoreline. You have to go and get that third goal that really gives you the purpose to literally make the opposition work. But now, the game's completely changed.
I remember talking once to that wise old man of football, David Pleat, and saying 2-1's a tricky scoreline, isn't it, when you've been 2-0 up and it's pulled back to 2-1. And he looked at me with those searching eyes and simply said, well, I know I'd rather be 2-1 up than 2-1 down.
It's very true, though, isn't it? But it's always a...
He said you might call it a tricky scoreline, but it's okay.
That's the old school mentality.
I remember thinking, yeah, he's got a point, hasn't he? Oh, it's all happening here. Simon Hooper's laces come under. Not easy to do them up in the rain. But good luck, he's okay.
The rain's still coming down heavily as well, isn't it?
Started again. It just eased a touch and it's got really heavy again. Heavy pitch as well, tough on the players' legs, just what you need as a coach heading into a busy time. Dibbling. Downs.
Great ability, hasn't he, Tyler Dibbling? He's one to really keep an eye on his progress. Once the club's looking at maybe taking him away.
They wanted a free kick. Sugawara felt he was being held.
I think they were both at it, if I'm being quite honest. As well, both players have got their arms, there's a pull, there's a tug over. I think that's what Simon Hooper's saying to Sugawara. They're both at it. You just get on with it.
Yeah, it's a good spot, really. No VAR to help or anything like that. It's old school refereeing competition, this.
Chiesa hasn't been able to get on the ball, has he?
He hasn't, no.
Literally, you bring him on as a big outlet and just hasn't been able to affect the game. And credit to Southampton in the second half. They've approached it brilliantly, I feel.
They're giving it away here, though. Chiesa suddenly is interested. Jota picks him out. Chiesa! It was going wide anyway. It's cleared away by Harwood Bellis, but he was dragging that wide, whatever he says.
Well, he's got a score for me. Jota does absolutely brilliant. Puts it on a plate for him, really. I mean, look at the gap that he can slide that into. He completely pulls it across, doesn't he? I don't know whether he's caught in two minds or whether he's actually taking that shot on or trying to pick out Harvey Elliott that looked like he was running in, but got to be taking a shot on from there and scoring.
That's where you always get the comparisons with his father. And I feel for him with that because he is a different player, but his father used to score those for fun. Fernandez, oh, nearly. Great idea to find Archer outside of the right foot. Now Chiesa. Tsimikas. Fouled by Jota. And the other thing about Chiesa, and it's not his fault, but I would say 2-0 up, cruising, keeping the possession and dominating on the way back from injury. That's his kind of game. 2-1 up with Southampton pushing you and attacking from everywhere. Most certainly not his kind of game. That goal has changed a lot. But he's still got that in the locker. How good is that?
That is magnificent, by the way. I mean, to bring that down from that distance and have the composure to have the audacity to even have a little nutmeg at the end of it.
Now, Lee Hendry was a brilliant technical player, brilliant, but even he's looking at that going,
superb.
How many times out of 10?
Oh. Absolutely brilliant.
There's something about the technique of those academy players from Italy, and you see in Serie A, and of course who travel, it's just crazy level.
Yeah, it is. I was fortunate to watch Juventus against Manchester City, and they're so physical, but technically absolutely brilliant. And a lot of young players in that Juventus side.
Absolutely, yeah. Zendo. Southampton still in this League Cup quarter-final, and the fact it would go straight to penalties, I think, favours them. They can find a goal in the next 20 minutes. They're going to have a big chance. They very nearly did. Archer with that second opportunity. Kelleher making a good save. Double change for Southampton. Paul Onuachu is going to come on. Archer's race this run, but what a moment to take away from this game.
Oh, what a goal. It really was. I mean, something out of nothing, but that's what Cameron Archer's capable of doing. Rest up, get ready for league campaign.
So, Onuachu and Kamaldeen Sulemana, great talent from Rennes when he arrived 3 years ago. Scored 2 in the 4-4 draw against Liverpool a couple of years ago. And Onuachu is over 2 meters tall. 15 goals on loan at Trabzonspor last season, so he can score. Yet to score for Southampton tonight would be a good time to start. Size of it. Here he goes. Here he goes, running away from Tsimikas. He's all on his own, and that run had a sort of inevitable ending, but great physicality from him.
I'll tell you what, he's a man mountain, isn't he? Like, you just think that into his strengths.
Foul by Elliott. He might have given the first one. There was a shirt tug before the dramatic tumble.
Well, he has to be careful as well, Harvey Elliott. Don't forget he's on that yellow card, isn't he? Him and Downs that had the coming together.
Matheus Fernandes. Onuachu's in here, flags up, wouldn't have counted, but he is certainly a handful. He's certainly not hard for the assistant to see.
Well, not half. Tell you what, let's see this one again. I don't think he could quite get hold of it anyway, but he's literally made a big impact. I think he's onside, I really do. I think Chiesa plays him onside. I know there's obviously no VAR, but that's why I wanted to have a look at that again. It was just the skid upon his chest, and it was always going to get away from him, wasn't it? But the size and presence of him, I thought he might be able to hook that one back round.
Minutes tick by. He's come on and made an impact. And he'll be keen to as well when you've been side, not to great fanfare, but to a bit.
As I said, you know, you're looking at players that you have in the squad, and there's still the likes of Adam Armstrong to come back in. Obviously, you've got the likes of, as we've seen this evening, Cameron Archer. You've got a big man, Archer, who can certainly be a different way of playing, can't he? That's why I'm sure that others looking in to coming into the football club is that everyone wants to try and show that they're available and certainly there for the fight.
He's enjoying it, I think. Simon Rusk might as well. Endo is getting a bit of treatment. I think he might continue here. Can his team conjure an equaliser, conjure a moment of drama? Liverpool, remember, have lost only once this season in all competitions, at home against Nottingham Forest, improbably, the 14th of September. Unbeaten in 19. They're still leading here, of course, so no drama, but you don't often see them looking this vulnerable, Liverpool. Potentially vulnerable. Here's Elliott.
They have been so much better in this second half, though, Southampton. And Simon Rusk obviously has to weigh up the options, don't he? I think the longer you stay in games against the top teams, you feel that you've got a chance, but real credit that they've come out with real positivity in this second half and believe that they could get something. And they've certainly given themselves every squeak.
And here's Suleimana, who's got all the talent in the world, and if he could just produce in this next 15 minutes, you never know. Absolutely has it in him.
The fact that you don't go to extra time, you know, it's a straight-out penalty shootout, isn't it, if this ends up being a draw, and gives you every chance.
Chiesa was trodden on there, I think. Liverpool were troubled late on by Brighton. You might remember in that game, Brighton pulled one back and sort of seemingly out of nowhere, flurry of goals, and then came close. Similar position here, really. Different scoreline, but not too far off. Here's Dibbling. Nice moment there between Sugawara and Endo. Interesting that Southampton had Ben Brereton Diaz on the bench, but he's gone for Onuachu. Brereton Diaz has scored in 12 appearances for the club. Here's Elliott. Nyoni. Now Morton. Amazing faith that in a situation like this they have Elliott and James McConnell, Morton, Nyoni still out there. Tsimikas looks to pick out the run of Elliott, but stretched away by Bednarek. Clever far post run that from Elliott. Ghosted him.
Yeah, you'd fancy Tsimikas to pick him out.
Trying to pick Chiesa out. Now Sulemana. Well done, Tyler Morton.
Just feel like Liverpool are just getting a bit more of a grip hold of this game. I think the realisation of Southampton feeling very positive.
Chiesa wanted too much time on the ball. Manning, a blow in the mouth. We've had a fair few stoppages in this second half, which I suspect will add to the drama. I reckon already we're at 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah, this was just a challenge from Manning. I think he'd done himself, didn't he? Just pushing the body into Chiesa. Just a little bit of a trailing elbow.
Yeah, trailing one rather than a swinging one, malicious one. Tsimikas. Here's Anyoni. In from Tsimikas. Nunez stretching and falling and not making contact. Now McConnell. Here's Quansah. Pushed wide by Morton. Still a chance here for Simon Rusk and Southampton. Remember, desperate, just desperate in the Premier League all season long, and particularly of late, leading to the departure of Russell Martin. But this, not a situation that too many had predicted.
Well, it's been a promising second half, and that's that Simon Rusk will be over the moon with. I wouldn't say they were bad in the first half. I just felt that...
Oh, Morton tried to take Manning out and wasn't able to. Clever ball from Manning, pulled back across, might have gone anywhere. Crowd appeal for handball by Anyoni. Aribo got into a really good position, so too there did Dibbling, but couldn't control. But here's renewed hope for Southampton, who are about to make 2 further changes. Maybe it is Brereton, Diaz and Lallana, let's see. Back in from Manning. Now Jota. It's a really good win. Here's Dibbling. Sugawara's made a difference down that right-hand side, unquestionably.
Yeah, he's got forward a lot more and offered an immediate outlet, hasn't he, on the right side, and put good delivery in the box.
Kamaldeen Sulemana drags it across on a watch, he falls and doesn't make contact. There's the chance they were looking for, but here comes Ryan Manning. We tried to create space with a couple of step-overs and the defender didn't bite.
Well, I actually would have felt that he should have done better. This ball in is absolutely brilliant. Sulemana, he just can't get the contact, and I suppose that's what you get, don't you? You know, at times it's unorthodox, it's hard, and having that presence, if you don't quite get it, you don't look so great.
Yeah, Lallana on for Aribo. Former Liverpool player, Bednarek makes way. And it is Brereton Diaz. And he's going for it, and he might as well. No extra time to worry about, you may as well throw Another forward player on. Can Liverpool defend it? Great touch again by Sugawara. 6 minutes for Southampton to have a go, and if they concede at the other end, then so be it. They might as well take this risk. The big man has already had a chance that he couldn't take. Can they create another? A re-energized crowd on the south coast. Yukinari Sugawara to fling it in. Onuachu climbing. And in the end, a flag. Of all things, a flag.
Yeah, it just takes the pressure off, that does. You're getting balls thrown in the box. Can go anywhere.
Jayden Danns. Signoni, who's been excellent. First start for Liverpool, calm amidst everything, good on the ball, buzzed around, changed position. That was pretty good, Lee.
Yeah, he's played in a number of positions this evening where it's not been in a central where he started, and then filtering it into either side, left and right side, so he's capable of having a bit of versatility.
Southampton enjoying every moment of this. Final 5 minutes plus, I would imagine, at least 5 minutes of added time. They've got 10 minutes, plus maybe a couple more to conjure an equaliser. Ryan Manning is going to try and dry this ball and wind up a long throw. He's done well, and he was heading towards Onuachu. The flick on by Harwood Bellis, and they have a corner.
I'll tell you what, it's amazing, isn't it? I mean, the style of play is completely different. I mean, you have to admit, Russell Martin probably wouldn't have wanted balls launched into the box, but look how much of a threat they've been since, just changing and tweaking little bits of their play.
Deep towards the far post, a bit too deep. And even if they don't equalise, even if they don't find a way, this could be a night of real rebirth for Southampton.
I think it has to be. I think what they've done this evening, some might say it's not a full-strength Liverpool side. They've really showed character in this second half.
It's a nervous touch from McCarthy. Jayden Danns. Jayden Danns. Jota. Yeah, Nunez took the shot on. Here's Chiesa. He always wants to run at them. Connell. Wasn't a bad hit, that. Here's Onuachu. Trying to bring others into play. He's done it marvellously. And now it's Sulemana. Final couple of minutes. Can he get away from Danns? He can. Flung in towards the far post. Diving header. Chance for Brereton Diaz, but he didn't catch hold of it.
That's a massive shot. He's been absolutely magnificent since coming on.
Now, he was off.
Yeah,
the flag did go up, wouldn't have counted,
Yes.
doesn't matter. Thankfully for him.
They did step up, didn't they, Liverpool? It looked really close and tight.
Connell's challenge, player stays down, referee's trying to play an advantage. Now that isn't an advantage. Got to play to the whistle, in fairness. Whatever the referee decides, it's going to show a card here.
Yeah, it looked a naughty challenge, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it did, didn't it?
McConnell, yeah.
Oof. James McConnell. So, we're going to find out in just a moment how many minutes will be added. Substitutions, stoppages, we'll see. But here come Liverpool, trying to render those minutes largely irrelevant with Federico Chiesa. Beautifully done, great goal line clearance. Chiesa again is denied twice. Sugawara with the second one.
Yeah, it's great defending, it's great play from Jota creating this up, but Chiesa, this is what he's capable of, just having that little bit of half a yard sharpness where it's en route to goal. That is a big block and a double defensive clearance from Southampton.
6 minutes is the answer. We've got to deal with this situation first, though. McCarthy decided to punch. He got some distance on that, though.
I think all the subs that Simon Russ made certainly had a reaction and an impact. It's like starting from scratch again, though, isn't it, in the changing room? You know, players that probably haven't featured much, throws on out. This is an opportunity to show the next one in. Look at me, I'm available, I'm up for the fight for the rest of the season.
Good turn there from Dans. Nunez. Now Lallana. Brereton Diaz got support to his right. Here's Onuachu. Played a minute and a half of the added 6. And here's Manning, come to life in this second half as an attacking threat. Now Brereton Diaz. Oh, just too much for Dibbling. All they beg for is one final chance.
Yeah, they certainly do. I think they might get one. Time is certainly running out. I'll tell you what, they've done so much better in this second half is that they've utilised the wing-backs so much better, haven't they? You touched on Ryan Manning getting forward more. Sugawara's come on, he's made an impact, played more of a winger than sitting in.
That's lofted downfield, a question of who wants it more. He says no foul. Fernandez went down. I think Simon Hooper's argument is that Fernandez initiated the contact, but I tell you what, Quansah's lucky. We'll have to see it again. He was well positioned, the referee.
Well,
big call, Lee.
Yes, massive call. At first, I was just thinking, this is dangerous.
Oh, it was a good idea from Lallana. Just didn't quite pull it off. We'll see it again. My gut feeling is it would have been red card, free kick on the edge. At the other end, Liverpool try and seal it rather than penalty, I mean. But let's see, we'll see once we get a chance.
Yeah, well, it was a big call from Simon Hooper. He had a really good view of it, follows the play up the pitch, but once it comes across, you can see that certainly both got their arm on, but I think, does he just get advanced? I think he's got a big argument there, I really do. I think once you're in front of a defender and you're going towards the centre of the goal, he has got a good view, but whether he thinks that Fernandez is actually looking for the foul, maybe the red card that possibly could have been.
In from Tsimikas, another punch by McCarthy. When you see it again, he's unlucky, isn't he, Fernandez?
I think so. I think that times we've seen them given, haven't we? And I think once you get in front of a defender, I think usually the writing's on the wall, isn't it? And once there is in trouble, he doesn't deal with the ball that bounces. And that's why it makes it look even more suspect. But as I said, Simon Hooper had a really good view of the angle of what was going on. I just wonder whether it was Hernandez making a bit more of the situation.
Well, they've got 90 seconds now. I suspect with VAR it's a red card. Although, really, the more important thing would have been the free kick on the edge than the red card with moments left. Here come Liverpool at the other end. Elliott blazes over.
You know, that's the thing, I think. The other argument, you know, did he have complete control of the ball when he's driving through? There's lots of elements, isn't there, when referees have that such a big call to make, but it's a massive, massive call in the game. Whether it would have changed an awful lot, I'm not so sure.
And maybe Jarell Quansah deserved a bit of luck after the time he's had this season. Has to be now. Has to be now for Southampton. Might yet be now. Brereton Diaz lets it drift. Here's Manning. Surely want Brereton Diaz in the middle. Now Liverpool can counter. Nunez to drive. Screaming for it was Elliott. Nunez goes for it himself. He made a real mess of that. Probably won't matter. But Harvey Elliott would be entitled to have a long look at him.
I'll tell you what, I felt for Harvey Elliott there because he's in acres of space. And just a little flick pass across to him. Onuachu climbs.
Liverpool into the semi-final of the League Cup for the 20th time. But a really good game on the South Coast. A change of style, particularly in the second half from Southampton. The goals in the first half were enough. Nunez and Elliott, then Archer pulling one back thrillingly for the Saints. Archer then had another chance moments later. Queeveen Kelleher made a terrific save. Then Quansah was lucky. Late on, we think, it probably would have been a free kick on the edge of the area. And who knows? We'll never know. Terrific night, maybe the start of something for Saints, but it's Liverpool who go through. It finishes Southampton 1, Liverpool 2.